Okay. Fine. So, dear friends, in the last class, we had a discussion about yamas and how do we, assess the people based on their yamas. We understood that yamas are something which enhance mental resilience, and if a person develops any mental illness, somewhere some of the yama have been compromised. Okay, and our approach should be to make the person aware of that and then develop that self-awareness, which Patanjali calls as pratipaksha bhavana. Okay, so what are these yamas? Ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, yamaha. Now, as you can see, when Patanjali says only these 5 as yamas, and these are the first limb of Ashtanga Yoga, Patanjali considers them as very important and considers them as the very pillar of the 8 limbs of yoga. So the question comes here is, why only these 5? There are other qualities also, no? Like in Hatha Yoga Pradipika, you see some more yamas. What are the yamas there? So daya, arjavam is simplicity, daya is compassion, mitahara is eating less food, then forgiveness, dhriti is your, you can say, willpower. But they are 10, there are 10, and all these 5 are there. Aparigraha is not there. Non-possessiveness, that aspect is not there. So that text gives you 10 yamas. Here there are 5. Whatever that is here is there except aparigraha, and there are other domains there. So what is the objective of Hatha Yoga Pradipika and what is the objective of Patanjali Yoga Sutra? Is there a difference? Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Kaivalya, it is very clear from the first sutra itself. Kaivalya is a sthiti where the we can say the drashta should get established in his own swarupa. Correct? And gunas have fulfilled their purpose. Drashta established in own swarupa. That state is Kaivalya. Complete freedom. Whereas, what is the objective with which Hatha Yoga Pradipika starts? What is the goal? Raj Yoga. So, what is that attainment? Asan Siddhi. So, ultimately, in Hatha Yoga Pradipika, from asana, he also takes us to pranayama. Then there are several mudras, bandhas, kriyas. Then he also gets into unmani, dhyana avastha, and talks about samadhi also. Laya.
There is so he talks about the 4 states.
So what we can understand is that Patanjali is more cognitive in his approach. Whereas Hatha Yoga Pradipika is more behavioral. It is focusing more on the practices related to body, related to breath, related to mudras, mantras, those aspects. But Patanjali follows a more of a Jnana Yoga kind of a approach. Even if he uses asanas, he doesn't mention any asana. He just says Stiram Sukham Asanam. So according to him, you need not do a lot of activities with your body. The only thing is you have to prepare the body for sitting still for a long time. Correct? And then he adopts a more completely cognitive introversion of the consciousness, and then self-reflection, self-awareness, those approaches. Whereas Hatha Yoga Pradipika, I can, see that for the people who find it difficult to take a direct analytical cognitive approach, I think Hatha Yoga Pradipika is another path who is for the people who are dominant in their willpower and are determined, disciplined to do practices. There are such kind of personalities, no? You give them hours of practice, they will sit and do. But if you give them 1 hour of contemplation and thinking, it is difficult for them. Correct? So probably because of that, the yamas also what Patanjali prescribes are more related to the deeper inner reflection and cognitive domains. So here he considers that cognitively letting go becomes very important. So psychologically, mentally, what drains my energy? He wants to stop that. Because if your thought process he is able to channelize, towards one pointedness of who am I, that kind of inquiry, then the next step will be possible, dharana will be possible, but if that is not happening, then it will be difficult. So what is it that gives me more thoughts? It increases the speed of the thoughts in my mind. One is, if I become violent, whenever we become violent, destructive, it is not only that the person in front of us gets hurt, but we also get a lot of thoughts. After becoming angry, after showing violence, hours go by where we are not able to bring our mind back to the present moment. Those recaps, those memory, those emotions, they keep repeating, So you are not at all prepared even to get into a state of asana. Sthiram sukham asanam itself will not be possible if you are breaking the yama of ahimsa. In the same way, you tell a lie and come back. After that, you can't sit still. You will be thinking whether that person will catch it. What happens if he catches it? How I have to cover that lie to tell more lies, So in that way, asatya also doesn't allow a person to sit still. And even a thief, a person who has taken something without telling anybody is always under fear that he will be caught. So for him also, peace of mind to sit comfortably and do inner inquiry will not be possible. He will always be drawn outward. So these are all the things which draw your awareness outward. They don't allow you to turn inwards. You understand? So that is why Patanjali considers them as important yamas. You have to block the tap. You have to block the channels which are draining your energy. Brahmacharya, excessive indulgences in the sense pleasure also doesn't give the ability to the mind to remain calm. You will start craving. So a person who breaks the yama of brahmacharya craves for sensory pleasure. So he tries to sit still, he will develop a craving. I want to go there, I want to eat this, I want to meet this person, or whatever, I want to smoke. So all this kind of thing will not allow a person to sit still. We know we are dealing with addiction subjects. It is so difficult for them to sit still. Then aparigraha. Another worry that will not allow me to sit still is whatever I possess, whether it will be lost. A housewife tries to sit and meditate, and all the time she is thinking, what is my husband doing? Whether he's talking to another lady, whether, or if sometimes the suspiciousness comes after that, it is very difficult to let go. So that is why I think Patanjali has not given any explanation, but I think that all these 5 have the ability to pull you out when you want to turn inwards. If you break them, By force you will be pulled out. It will not be possible for you to turn inwards. So therefore, you have to observe and follow these yamas. Then Patanjali says, Jati, Desha, Kal, Samaya, Anavachinnaha, Sarvabhauma, Mahavratam. See, one important thing to understand is that these yamas, what Patanjali has prescribed, they are not only at the level of your action, they are cognitive. So Patanjali is more concerned about what goes on within you rather than what you do. So therefore, they should be manasa, vacha, and karmana. If there is ahimsa, it is not only that in action you are not beating anybody or harming anybody, you should not get such thoughts also. And also you should not speak like that. So neither in your speech nor in your action and in your thinking that you should break any of the yamas if you want to sit still. Then if these yamas, these 5 vows are not limited by class, place, time and circumstance, then they are called as Mahavratam, Sarvabhaum Mahavratam. So how can these yamas be limited by class? Say ahimsa. Can you give any example that ahimsa is limited by jati? Amulya? Ahimsa is limited by jati, species. Yeah. So I say, yeah, I don't eat non-veg except egg. Okay. So here it is a jati specific that you are saying, okay. Or I eat non-veg, but during Navdurga I don't touch. Or on Saturdays I do not eat, or Fridays I do not. So you have the vrata, but it is limited by either jati or kala. Kala is during this time I don't do it. Other time it is okay. Desha. When I am in India, I don't eat. When I go abroad, I eat. So, Desha, Kala, Samaya or circumstances. Samaya here, Kala is time, Samaya is circumstance. Okay. So, I will not eat, but if I don't have anything to eat, I will eat. So, when these vows are not limited by these circumstances, no matter, it will be same for all jatis. At all time, in all places, in all circumstances, then that is called as Mahavrata. You understood? When it becomes Mahavrata, then there are certain laws in nature which give certain special abilities or power to the person who has been following it. Okay. So there are people who held on to one of the yamas as the Mahavrata in their lives. In our history, do you remember any such people who held on to such Mahavratas? Bhishma Pitama held on to which Mahavrata? No. Bhishma Pitama, which Mahavrata?
Brahmacharya.
Brahmacharya. His pratigya was that he will take the vow of Brahmacharyam. He will never marry and he will not have any kind of contact with females. So, Harishchandra for Satya, Rama is saying, yes. Yudhishthir for Satya. Satya. Ahimsa, anybody? Gautam Buddha. Mahavir. Aparigraha. Karna was Danavir Karna. Dadichi gave his bones also. So, these are the people who held those Mahavratas in all jati, desh, kala, samaya. They were not, avachinnaha, they were not blocked by any of these. Okay. Now, when you look back, did these people, get something special in their life when they followed those Mahavratas? Hmm? So before we go into that, let us look at what Patanjali says here. Ahimsa pratisthayam tat sannidhau vair tyagaha. What happens if somebody has taken a Mahavrata of ahimsa and jati, desha, khala, and circumstance, samaya? If he has followed that in his life, then whichever jiva organism comes closer to this person, he gives up the tendencies of being violent. Do you remember any such example? What used to happen? Angulimal, Daku Ratnakar. Angulimal was there. Ratnakar was with Narad Muni, where he became Valmiki. Daku Ratnakar became Valmiki when he met Narad Muni, Narayan, Narayan. Whereas Angulimal, when he was standing in front of Gautama the Buddha, he couldn't hurt him. He gave away all his violent tendencies. He was about to make his record. 99 fingers were cut. Whoever he would kill, he would take his little finger and make a garland. 99 fingers were hanging on his neck. And he was very desperate to complete the century. It is that intensity that Gautama the Buddha comes in front of him. Okay. And he says, you are not afraid of me. Seeing him only, his violent tendencies are going away. Still, he's trying to, enact, force himself, scare him. You are not scared of me. Says, why should I be? I have nothing to fear. I don't have fear of death. At the most, what can you do? You can take. But you should only take what you can give back. That is the line that Buddha tells him. So he doesn't understand. Then he says, okay, this is a neem tree. Can you take one leaf? So he just draws a leaf. He takes it, Buddha, and then tells him, now put this leaf back. And it should grow. There is no glue that can put the leaf back the way it was, that it will again become a part of the tree and grow. There is no glue. No matter how much science and technology comes up, we have not yet been able to build that glue which can put the leaf back after you cut it. After you take it away, no scientist can put it back. So, he's shocked. So, Vairatyaga. Any example you remember where animals did that? So, when Krishna goes to kill Kamsa, first obstacle they put is a mad elephant. So he thinks that elephant is going to come and crush. The elephant does full salute. Violent. They make him eat certain substances which make the elephant. But even then, that substance becomes powerless. So in Mahabharata, there are examples where the Sandipani ashram, where Krishna used to study, his guru and all. Or in Tulsidas Ramayana also it is there that in the river along the ashram, deer and lion would drink water together. There are such instances that The animal who eats another animal, both of them could come and drink water near the premises of that ashrama, where Rama, Valmiki, or Sandipani. So ahimsa pratisthayam tat sannidhav vairatyaga. They say that when Gautam Buddha used to walk across any kingdom, even if it is kilometers away, and the kings at the border would have any kind of conflict, just because Buddha is there on the outskirts of the city, they would come to a amicable solution. They would sit, discuss, okay, no war. Some people have that capability. When two people are fighting, when they just sit in between them, without telling a word, conflicts resolve. So it is possible because of very powerful vibrations of ahimsa. Because his very being is established in that. So Patanjali invites us to take this Mahavrata, a beautiful Mahavrata, which is the most required Mahavrata for today's world. We see that this is one of the yama which is broken most often. And this himsa is not only towards others, but also towards oneself. So on one side, we see a lot of destructive tendencies. On other side, we also see alarming suicide rates. So it is because the yama of ahimsa has been compromised. What happens here? Satya pratisthayam kriya phalashrayatvam. If somebody observes the yama of truthfulness, manasa, vacha, karmana. In Mahabharata, Bhishma says, Satyam vada, priyam vada, anyatha ma vada. Whenever you have to speak, either speak the truth, and one which is priyam, which is likable by others. Otherwise, do not speak. So, when a person establishes himself in Satyam, then Kriya Phal Ashrayatvam. What happens? Usually, there is a law. If somebody reaps any kind of fruit, there should be some action. I get the fruits of my own action. Correct? But these kind of people, there are people who have established themselves so much into the truth of the cosmos that when they say something, even if the person has not done any action to deserve that, it will come to him. So they get a power of creating a phala for which there is no karma. That's why you see Mahabharata, Ramayana, especially from people like Bhishma, people like Yudhishthir or Krishna. They go and they do namaskaram, and they very attentively want to listen what ashirvad, what blessing they give. So if they say Vijay Bhava, they have to win. So they are also very careful. Always Bhishma, for Duryodhana, he would always say Ayushman Bhava. Never said Vijay Bhava. That also doesn't come from within them. So one is whatever they are attuned to comes, and second is even if it comes, if certain sage, certain people who have established in truth, they say something, then even if it is not manifesting, nature starts creating that. That is the power of creation that this Atman has. If you are attuned and something comes out of your mouth, manifests, even if there is no karma behind it. That's why there is so much value of taking the blessings of your elders, your grandparents, people who bless, because their blessing have its own component. Even if you have not done anything to deserve that, if they say that you will get it, you will get it. So this दुआओं में बड़ी पावर होती है. If somebody prays for you, it has a lot of power, especially a person who is always truthful. Okay, so this is the second yama. Asteya pratisthayam sarvaratnopasthanam. On being firmly established in non-stealing, all wealth comes. Sarvaratnopasthanam. Actually, exactly if you see the meaning, it means that he gets that intuitive knowledge of where there is hidden wealth. कहाँ पे ट्रेजर है, उसको वो इंट्यूटिवली उसको इमेज दिखने लगता है. जैसे हमारा वो रहता है ना, कौन रहता है फुकरे मूवी में, उसको फ्लैशबैक आता है फुकरे 3 में, चूचा. यू सॉ दैट मूवी? Of course, I don't know, he may be established in Asteya because he is very innocent. So, so now, this ahimsa and satya is easy to understand. Why that kind of manifestation of that Mahavrata? How do you consider this one? Why is that so? Why Asteya should lead to a knowledge of immense wealth, where it is and all that?
Is it the knowledge or it's like all wealth comes to them?
Sarva Ratno Pasthanam. A place where all the Ratnas are there. That kind of intuitive knowledge comes.
It's not literal, maybe it means non-material wealth.
Very good. But Asteya is at Manasa, Vacha, Karmana at all the 3 levels. So at physical, at subtle levels. So I believe that the result is also at all the 3 levels. Maybe subtle, but it may be physical also.
I think it's on the same law that once you stop wanting something, it comes to you.
So one who has never stolen anything from anybody, not taken anything that belongs to other. He gets an intuitive knowledge of where the wealth lies or wealth comes to him. See, what does it mean when I never steal? It means that I'm always satisfied with what I have. Correct? Otherwise, thought of stealing will come, no, at least. I will not steal, but thought will come. So a person who doesn't even get a thought of stealing is actually in a state where he is very trupta, very satisfied with what he has. And there is a law, when you have, you get more. People who, even in Bible it is there, that those who have will be given more. Those who have not, whatever they have will also be taken away from them. So if you have enough, but you feel you want more, and you take it from others, then what you have also will be taken away. So in this way, I feel that it is this law here, that they are utterly satisfied, and therefore they, even if they get the knowledge of that Ratna and all, I don't think they will do anything. They will not go and steal that because they are established in Asteya. I see a information or a knowledge that this is the wealth there, but I am established in the Mahavrata of Asteya. What will I do? I am not going to go and take away, because I am satisfied within me, no? Correct? At the most, they will find something somebody who is very needy and guide him or something like that. So this is like that. If they go and take it, that Vrata will go away. Brahmacharya pratisthayam virya labha. When continence is established, energy and determination is gained. Virya. Virya, actually virya comes with the understanding of sankalpa shakti bolte hai usko. They get that much energy and determination that whatever they determine, they achieve it. So this we observed in Bhishma's life. A lot of determination, lot of sankalpa shakti. All the obstacles, once he said something, he achieved that. तो ये जो पावर आता है कि ये मैंने बोल दिया, ये मुझे अचीव करना है, तो मैं उसको अचीव करके ही रहूंगा. That power and energy to do that comes by brahmacharyam, non-indulgence in the sense pleasures, especially sexual pleasure. That leads to energy and determination, virya labha. If that is compromised, then person has very weak determination. He determines, but not even is able to take a single step and gets. Why is that? What is the mechanism?
Body produces ojas. So the ojas gives the mental resilience and physical power.
So here one important thing to understand is that Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that the kama according to dharma is also me. If there is a sexual act which is happening according to the dharma, according to the scriptures, then that is also a pious process of creation. But so it is known as vaivahika brahmacharya. There is a concept of vaivahika brahmacharya also. So what it means is that, okay, the scriptures say that I am married to so and so person, I am committed to so and so person, so I will do this act of creation with this person. So even then the benefit of brahmacharya is attained. You understand? So it is not related to the act per se. It is about the chintana, the mental thinking of the act. When you are hungry, you eat food, you relax, that's okay. But you are hungry, you want to eat, you stop yourself, and you get flashbacks of samosa, idli, vada, rasgulla in front of your eyes. That mithya chintan is destructive. So according to dharma, these are basic needs which should be fulfilled, but according to the dharma. And one should not get into a state of conflict or fight also, that it should not become an ego issue that, okay, I want to establish brahmacharya, I will not marry. But one is not, getting that kind of a contentment within, and there is a desire within. Then Krishna says these people are mudhas. So what is that shloka he says? Mithyachara sauchyate. What is the shloka here? Yastvindriyani manasa niyamyarabhate Arjuna. So the one who ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyachara sauchyate. So one who controls outwardly the organs of action, but in the mind he continues to think about them, that is vimudhatma. And mithyachari also, because there is a hypocrisy. Inside is something, outside is showing something else. So it is better that we align ourselves with the dharma, and along the line of the dharma, till then we observe, control, and then follow the brahmacharyam line. Then also there is this power of determination. Aparigraha sthairye janma kathant sambodha. What does it mean? Steadfast in non-receiving complete letting go of possessiveness, he gets the memory of past life. This appears, the most difficult to understand. Even brahmacharya, because you drain lot of energy in thinking of those pleasures, and you drain energy, the sankalp shakti goes down. That is understood. But here, aparigraha, non-possessiveness, janma kathant sambodha. What does it mean? Janma katha ant. So this particular life, I was born, correct? So this is the story of my janma that began. So, but there was a story before this that ended. I died in my last life. And then I was born again here. So that knowledge of what was the anta of my janma katha, last janma katha, and now how I am born, why I am born in this particular family, in this particular body, how did I die in the last life? That knowledge comes to the person if he establishes himself in aparigraha, when he is not possessive of anything. So it is almost that this kind of knowledge will come only to a ascetic who can take away whatever you want. He has nothing. Correct? Otherwise, for family life or grahastha, you have to possess things, no? Your house, your car, your laptop, your people, it is very difficult to have non-possessiveness unless you have reached a state where you are in a sannyasa ashrama and you have left. But then what happens when you completely let go? What happens? Why this particular yama gives this result? What is the mechanism? What do you think? क्या लगता है? मतलब?
What we think we become.
So नॉन पॉजिटिवनेस से क्या बन रहा है? छोड़कर लेट गो करने से क्या बन रहा है कि उसको पास्ट लाइफ का ज्ञान आ रहा है? नहीं, स्पेसिफिक जवाब देना है, सब स्पेसिफिक सवाल का स्पेसिफिक जवाब देना। So, okay, forget about past life. Do we even remember our childhood properly? Your 5th birthday, what were you doing? Where were you? So, why does that happen? Why we are not able to recollect? Forget 5th birthday, last year at this time, last month at this time, 1 week ago at this time. You were here only last week, Patanjali class. Okay, so our memory, whatever that we keep on storing, it slowly fades. Certain things which are very prominent that create a deep impression in us, they only remain. Correct? Now, you would have realized that these intense flashbacks of certain events that have happened in the past, they also come when we are in a way relaxed, not bothered about anything, and sitting relaxed. Then only we see that slowly the deeper things in the psyche start revealing themselves. The more you sit relaxed, the more you see that whatever in your mind that has created a deep impression on you will be revealed to you. We think that the thinking process is random. It is not random. Out of so many things that have happened into your life, you are getting a certain event again and again, more frequently as compared to others. Correct? In your flashback, in your memory. Why? Because that has touched you deeply. Now, if you sit, relax, and allow that event to flow, when that event comes and flows, there is a purpose behind it. It wants to give you an insight. Okay. But what happens? Because we are always bothered by something or the other which is around us, as soon as that event starts unraveling something, we are distracted. So we get a flashback, we stay with it, and then we become judgmental about it, or we are distracted by something, and we lose it. So every such event is like a cloud, which has a tendency to naturally wither away. And at the depth of that cloud, there is a ray of light. There is an insight. Okay. But for the cloud to wither away, you should not meddle with it. You should allow naturally to wither away. Correct? If you are meddling with the cloud, you are possessive about the cloud also. So you get something and you pour your own emotions onto that. Then that thing requires you to be non-judgmental, to give you an insight, as if it belongs to somebody else. Correct? So there also parigraha. And we are distracted by other attachments that we have. So it doesn't allow us to go in the depth of the things. Otherwise, the way the flashbacks come into your mind, they have a natural tendency to settle one after another into a reel, taking you to your past life. It can start revealing itself like a reel one after another, giving you deeper and deeper. That insight that it gives you another thing to look at. That gives another insight, that gives another insight, and you can look at your whole thing. So this has happened with Buddha, Gautama the Buddha, many, many lives. Osho also says that he reached a state where he was able to see that in the last life he was killed. He had taken a vrata, fasting of 21 days. And he was killed on the 11th day. When he was born, till 11th day, he was very reluctant to take milk or drink anything. So you see certain impressions. So there is something that the impressions that are coming onto your mind randomly, some images come. Sometimes you don't even know who these people are, what are they talking, and they come and they go away. But we think it is random thinking. Correct? It is not random. There is something in it. So those who are not distracted by their possessions outside and who are not possessive about what they are watching, for them, it naturally has a default tendency to connect into something and start revealing something deeper. And as you go deeper and deeper, it will take you here to Janma Kathanta Sambodh. Okay. So this is what Lao Tzu said, no? Be still, and the secret of the whole universe will be revealed to you. Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said, just be still and watch, and the secrets of the whole universe will be revealed to you. Okay, so with this understanding of the yamas, this is very important. Vitarka badhane pratipaksha bhavanam. What are vitarkas? Vitarkas are the thoughts, actions, tendencies which go against the yamas. So a tendency to be violent, a tendency to tell a lie, tendency to grab, tendency to overindulge, tendency to possess. These are all vitarkas. So yamas are one energy moving in one direction. Vitarkas are energy moving in exactly opposite direction. Now, these are the tendencies that we have from our many, many lives. In the last class, we did a small exercise, where I asked you, which is the yama that you think in your life that is easiest to break for you? Can everybody do it once again? Just think. out of the 5 yamas. These are the 5 yamas: ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, and aparigraha. Which of these yamas do you think that you have a natural tendency of breaking it in the easiest way? Means the easiest yama in your personality to break. Just become aware of that. So that is the greatest vitarka in your life. Now, different people have different yamas that they break most often. And there may be some yamas which you do not break very often, which is a natural strength in you. So all of us have certain strengths, certain weaknesses. Correct? Now, Patanjali says that these strengths and weaknesses are coming from your past karmas and past lives and past samskaras. So it is not only that this yama you have broken in this life, you have been breaking that yama in many lives in the past. So it carries a inertia, it carries lot of force. And when something becomes very forceful and you want to go against the tide, then you may try for some time, then again the tide sways you away. Correct? So first and foremost, it is important to understand what is my vitarka badha. Now, once you understand that vitarka badha, Patanjali says that it should be countered. Sorry, here. Vitarka badhane pratipaksha bhavanam. What to do with that vitarka which is coming? Pratipaksha bhavanam you have to bring. Now, see, one thing you have to understand. Whenever a yama is broken, before breaking the yama, your consent is obtained. You have to sign an informed consent form. After that, the yama is, this much freedom has been given to you. You will very well be made aware. See, this is the yama that you are breaking. Do you approve? Then you have to say yes. Then nobody can stop you. Then you are gone. उसके बाद में नहीं रुक सकता है. लेकिन आपका सिग्नेचर लिया जाता है यमा को तोड़ने से पहले हर बार. Somewhere. नहीं, if you are aware, if you are watching every time that it is broken, you have to tick a box somewhere saying, yes, I approve. It is that moment when you are signing there, yes, I approve. It is in that moment, Patanjali says that you have to bring this pratipaksha bhavana. You cannot bring it after signing at the end. Then you are in a storm, you can't do anything, you're gone. But pratipaksha bhavana has a particular time. There, if you properly counteract, that episode will be done. Also, when you are using pratipaksha bhavana, it is like an arrow. The arrow is coming and I am shooting a opposite arrow. It's very sharp, intellectual. It is a understanding that goes. But after doing that, also one should not become too egoistic that I am able to win over it and I have become a Mahavrata, great. No, nothing like that. One remains very humble and keeps using this pratipaksha bhavana. But there is a time at which you have to put it. That requires intelligence. That requires pradnya. So what is that pratipaksha bhavana? Patanjali is very methodological in telling us a way, a cognitive way of how you can strengthen your weak points, and to do that, what you should do. So iti pratipaksha bhavanam. See, he ends with iti pratipaksha bhavanam. So exactly what does that cognitive arrow consists of? Number 1, vitarka hinsadayaha. He is very clear. So vitarka of ahimsa is himsa. So then further, krit karita anumodita. Such acts of violence, untruth, and so forth, first contemplate on how it is being done. Now, when you are lured into it, contemplate how it is being done. Krit karita anumodita. In 3 ways, this is executed in your mind also. One is either you do it you are doing it yourself. Second, you do not do it, but you make other person do it and watch. Okay. I will not tell anything, you go and tell. So you are not lying, you are asking another person to lie. Okay. And you are safe there. Correct? So this is also a vitarka. Or you are prompting another person to be violent. But you are, Shakuni did that in Mahabharata. Kaikai did that in Ramayana. They did not do. Shakuni made Duryodhan do that. This is Anukarita. Krut is directly doing. Karita is making other person do. All the yamas you can do like that. You are not possessive, you are prompting another person to be possessive. So brahmacharya, asteya. Or see what extent he goes. Anumodita. Anumodita is, it is happening. You are not telling the person to do, but you silently approve it. So there is stealing that is happening in front of you. You say, I don't break my yama. You close your eyes and go away. But you have observed that it is happening. And somewhere it is a thing that you have approved. Or there is a violence that is happening in front of you and you do not interfere, you do not stop it. So ultimately, whether it is you do, or you make another person do it, or you silently approve it, these tendencies in you are fundamentally arising from three emotional forces. One is greed, other is anger, and the third is infatuation or moha. So you have to think about that. First, you have to think is whether I am directly doing it or it is happening indirectly or I am silently approving it. Number one. Number two, you have to think it that this particular thing, the arrow that is coming onto me, it is coming from which emotion within me. So if I see a violence that is going on and I silently approve it, then either I am approving it because the person who is being hidden, who is being hit, I am angry towards that person. इसलिए अच्छा है मार रहा है, मारने को क्या करना देखो. तो मेरे अंदर का जो क्रोध है वो रिस्पॉन्सिबल है फॉर दैट वितर्का. और it can be that the person who is hitting, I am attached to that person, I have moha to that person. So I say मैं उसको रोक नहीं सकती हूँ because I love that person, I can't stop. So a child wants to pull a dog's leg or whatever you want to hurt, but mom is too much attached to the child. No, let the dog die, but my child should be happy. Moha. Lobha. So the same way we can see that out of this violence, ultimately, I am going to get something. If these two people fight, it is my gain. So it is just for ahimsa, I have given one example. Same thing can happen for satya, brahmacharya, asteya, parigraha. Ultimately, you will see, or you can contemplate, okay, so you have identified which is your weakest link, which yama. Then you go one step further back and ask yourself, out of these three emotions, which emotion is contributing to that weakest link the most? So you will come down to a single emotion, which is your weak point. And it will be either lobha or krodha or moha. So for me, from my janmas, tendencies of janmas and janmas, moha is the problem. Correct? For you? Moha. For you? Krodha. For you? For you? Moha. 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 So moha is the most prevalent problem for you, madam. Moha. So krodha and moha. This is more prevalent. But if we are all, it is a bias sample.
It's also like moha is easier to accept than lobha or krodha.
No, lobha, krodha also.
Lobha makes you greedy. Image problem.
Image problem. But yeah, it is. So it is pratipaksha bhavana. Pratipaksha bhavana. Hmm? And then what else further? Once I understood that this thing, whatever is coming to me, the yama that I am breaking is coming from this emotion, and then its intensity. Purvaka means before that yama breaks, this three emotions give it energy. Mridu, madhya, adhimatra. And how does that vitarka manifest? Means the tendency to break the yama, that energy which breaks the yama, that manifests in three ways: mild, moderate, and very intense. So the intensity with which it comes, the same level of intensity is required for you to have the counter thinking. If the intensity is too much, you will not be able to do anything, so you will be gone. So then further what you have to think, you have to look at its intensity, prepare accordingly. You have to say that, yes, this time it is very intense. It is coming from my moha, and it is that something which is pulling me into a direct action. Then you have to see, ultimately, when I get swayed away by this, what will be the consequence? You have to think about it at that moment when you are just about to sign. Dukh, ajnana, ananta phala. It will start a unending cycle of suffering and ignorance for me. I will break this, I will get a karma, I will be violent, then it will start a chain. The person will be violent, I will be violent, and it will become an unending chain of suffering and ignorance for me. There is no other output of this. It is not going to give me that happiness that I think that I will get. Ultimately, it is going to become poisonous. So, dukkha, ajnana, ananta phala, innumerable ignorances and miseries are going to come to me if I fall this time. After this contemplation, you sit. Even then, if it is adhi matra and you sign, then you sign. Then you go through it. But after going through it, when you actually face the dukkham, ajnana, ananta phalam, again remind yourself that if at that moment I had not signed, this wouldn't have come. So even when it is over, even when the storm is gone, there is an insight that is waiting for us there. So I'm not saying after this lecture, you are just all yamas, you will become a Mahavrata. No, but it is a journey. Don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. Ultimately, we have to get up and walk every time we fall. But at least there should be a motivation that, yes, I am going to walk again. I am going to stand again. Never give up. In addiction clinics, they say that relapse is the rule. So one of the best counselors are those who are able to motivate a person who has just relapsed to come back to the doctor. It is the greatest achievement in addiction treatment, that if a person, as soon as he relapses, he comes back to the doctor. So relapse is not a problem. Not going back to doctor after that is a problem. आपका हारना, यमा टूट जाना, वो प्रॉब्लम नहीं. उसके बाद फिर से पतंजलि के पास ना आना, फिर से इसके बारे में ना सोचना, ये प्रॉब्लम. 1000 बार गिरो, नो प्रॉब्लम, पर वापस उठो, उठते जाओ, कभी हमेशा के लिए हार मत. So Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Mam smara yudhya cha, keep fighting, keep remembering. Yes, it is difficult, very difficult. Yogic path is not easy. Don't think by skipping yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, you will reach samadhi. Never. It is never going to happen. जब तक यमा नियमा पूरे 100% सेट नहीं होते, आपके दरवाजे खुलने ही नहीं वाले, कहीं नहीं जाने वाले आप। ये इधर उधर ही होता रहेगा सब, उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं। ठीक है। सो इफ इट इज रिटन दिस वे, इट इज रिटन दिस वे। Earlier, I also used to have it. Skip. You reach a level, after that, just the doors are blocked. You will not get any further insight till you go back to the base and correct it. एक लेवल तक आपको आ जाएगा थोड़ा ब्लिस, थोड़ा अच्छा, लेकिन आप बोलोगे कि मुझे समाधि अवस्था, मुझे ना निर्बीज सबीज वो एक्सपीरियंसेस मिले और आपके फंडामेंटल में ही झोल है, तो आप कितने ही जन्म ले लो, नो मैटर, thousands of birth, lakhs of birth, millions of birth, you will be asleep. Therefore, never think that by skipping these fundamentals you are going to grow in the path of yoga. जब तक आप शास्त्र और स्क्रिप्चर्स के हिसाब से चलना नहीं सीखोगे. So our nation is great because there have been peoples who were able to stand on these very difficult. इसलिए among all the shastras, Adhyatma Shastra is considered as the topmost. In Chandogya Upanishad, Shvetaketu comes to his father Uddalaka. Now Shvetaketu is such a brilliant scholar that there is no knowledge that he does not have. He is a champion in Yuddha Shastra, astrologer, masters in art and poetry, in weaponry, sports, all kind of knowledge he got, topper. And he was fond of having debates. बड़े बड़े किंग से जाकर के, स्कॉलर से जाकर के, he would do debates and beat them and come off when he was in Gurukulam. So when he comes back to his father, his father asks him one question. Dear Shvetketu, did you get the knowledge after knowing which nothing else remains to be known? Did you get that knowledge? This is Paravidya. Then he says, then all this is waste. So he motivates a very brilliant scholar to go for that knowledge. Is there a knowledge after knowing which nothing else needs to be known? Our Upanishad says, yes, it is there. The Ritambhara Pradnya can dawn on to your chitta also. Ritambhara. In this very life, it is possible. Patanjali says it is possible. But you have to take vrata. You have to walk on them. You have to never give up. And once you take a determination and walk, there will be forces in nature which will come to motivate you. You will get right guidance. So never feel disheartened, but also understand that this path is not easy. Because it is giving you the ultimate, it requires the ultimate from you. It requires. So this is the understanding that we get from yamas and their importance in life. We will get into niyama and their results in the next class. Now, if students have any question, any doubts, they can ask.
Not related to this context. I have one question, but not this one.
Okay, so first related to this content, if anybody has any question. Online or offline. Krishna followed ahimsa or not? Anybody? Dr. Ram Bokde, Dr. Parag, Dr. Rama. Elephant bowed down to him.
I think he
Mad elephant.
followed it, sir.
And he had come to kill Kamsa there. He had already killed many. But elephant को लगा कि उसने follow किया है. पर हमें समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. Yes, anybody?
think he has followed it because in the act of violence.
One second, Dr. Parag is saying something. Wait, let me just increase the volume here. Yes, Dr. Parag.
So there is one sutra in Tattvartha Sutra. The same yamas are also there in that, and there is one sutra called Pramatta Yogat Prana Vyaparopanam Himsa. So they have defined Himsa as Pramatta Yogat Prana Vyaparopanam Himsa. So Pramatta is to be infatuated or not aware when you are doing the act. So when you are aware, then it doesn't become Himsa. Because Krishna was aware of what he was doing, fully aware. In state of awareness, if I am doing surgery with my knife, I am aware that I am healing the patient, then it is not a himsa. But
See,
if I am not aware,
he's an orthopedic surgeon. He says, if with awareness, with my knife, I am cutting a person, but I am aware that I am healing him, then I am not doing himsa. Whole Mahabharata was a surgery of the society. Beautiful answer, Parag. Anything else? See, one thing that I want all students, all of you, to be very careful is do not think that yoga is out of reach. This is only for the sages. Right here in very life, Kaivalya Sthiti is also possible. As far as I am concerned, I am very determined that I am going to reach ultimate, what Patanjali says, in this life. I want it at any cost. That is the first priority for me in my life. And I am doing whatever I can towards that. No, I know I am at 0.1% there now, but I have that tivra samvegana that I am going to do that in this very life, not waiting for another thing.
Sir, for the sake of dharma, it becomes non-violence.
Yeah, what was your question?
Oh, that question, sir, actually, if we see scriptures, may Sankhya, we are seeing the oldest one. Sankhya ka jo concept hai, that we are seeing the oldest among the scriptures. Sankhya, may we are taking the concept of Purusha, right? But in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it was done taking the concept of Ishvara. Okay, that Purusha is present in Sankhya. That Purusha is working also in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. What is the need of bringing this Ishvara concept here? Because almost whatever Sankhya says, Patanjali Yoga Sutra follows the similar things. What was the need? Because whatever the characteristic Purusha is having, here Ishvara is given the similar way. So,
yeah, because Patanjali probably was more compassionate. So he wanted to take care of people, who have no determination to do any practice, nor the intellect to understand these complex, procedures, but they have only one thing. They can surrender. They can, like Mirabai. So he says, Ishwar Pranidhana Dva. After prescribing all the procedure, ultimately he adds another line. ये सब करो या फिर एक काम करो, संपूर्ण समर्पण कर दो. Ishwar Pranidhana Dva. So he is compassionate and he opened that path for people who can do nothing else except bhakti. For them also, it is possible to reach the same level. For that, he says, Ishvara as Purusha Vishesha. So I think Patanjali did a great thing by adding Ishvara there. We should be thankful. Means he understood that mechanism and brought it forth. Ultimately, to Arjuna, Krishna tells all the paths. In 18th chapter, again summarizes everything. Finally, he says, Sarva dharman parityaj, माम एकम शरणम. ये जो भी होगा, ये सब रास्तों से होगा, लेकिन सबसे इजी काम है तमेव शरणम गच्छ सर्व भावेन भारत. जस्ट मेरे शरण में आ जाओ हर भाव से. सो वो सबसे इजीएस्ट और ब्यूटीफुल वे. अल्टीमेटली 18 चैप्टर आप ध्यान से पढ़ो, 18.31 से 18.47 तक. सो ही सेज whatever dharma you follow, swadharma, everything. Tameva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharat. Tat prasadat param shantim. Tat prasadat param shantim. And there is this. Param sthiti gacchati. Something. So, therefore, this whole domain of one-pointed complete surrender is also opened by adding Ishvara concept. Fine. So we will meet again next week. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.